The views and opinions expressed on this program are those of the producers and the individuals appearing on this program and do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of the staff of the Sun Prairie Media Center, its members or underwriters, the board members of the Media Center Commission, Charter Communications, TDS Telecom, or the staff and elected officials of the City of Sun Prairie.
Hello, and welcome to Real Reviews. My name is Jameson Rabbit, and the man seated next to me was the seventh friend on Friends. His name is Mike Roth.
And I, too, just like Jennifer Aniston, don't know how to retire. I
Yeah?
just keep going whether people want me or not.
I remember that one
That's actually pretty mean. I shouldn't have said that.
that season that you were living with Lisa Kudrow with Phoebe. It was great, a great season. I remember
Well,
that.
they wanted something new, kind of like, when the Cosby Show started getting stale, they brought in a baby. I'm like, I was a young, cute one, yeah.
Oh,
I was
man.
silly, did a lot of silly things.
I love how you compare yourself to Raven Simone. I like that.
Yeah, we're pretty much the same.
Yeah, I
except
agree.
for her career skyrocketed.
I've
by
always
one.
thought that. This week we have a packed show full of movies, good, bad, or otherwise. But we got a lot of movies to talk about, as well as another summer camp treat. But first,
And that's why our show is an hour long?
yeah, oh man, it should be
No,
here this week. But I'm going to get us started with our streaming spotlight for this week. Again, we turn to Netflix for a film that debuted over the weekend. It is called Murder Mystery from director Kyle Newacek. I know him. He's Kyle from Workaholic.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the stoner on Workaholic.
There's a lot of them.
He's the one who's like their buddy who always causes trouble. Like, not the three that live in the house, but the real dirtbag guy.
The one that lives in the van. Yeah.
His name is Kyle on the show. Anyways, this stars Jennifer Aniston and Adam Sandler as a married couple, Audrey and Nick. Nick is a cheapskate cop who is badgered and berated by his wife, Audrey, to take her somewhere, take her on a vacation. You never take me anywhere. The movie opens for some reason, like the first 15 minutes, there's a lot of talk about Claritin. It felt like a Claritin commercial. A lot of, I need Claritin, why didn't you buy me the Claritin? Nick is a complete bore. Like, they're on the airplane, and he's the guy who's just snoring and laying his seat back into the guy who's sitting behind him. They're traveling to Europe, and along the way, they meet this billionaire played by Luke Evans, who invites them onto his family yacht. The family patriarch, played by Terrence Stamp, has everyone gathered together, and he announces that he's cutting everyone out of his will. But-
Sounds like a murder mystery is going to come.
But before he can sign the paperwork, the lights go out, and he is stabbed, and it turns into a real whodunit. The investigation begins, and well, Nick, he's a cop, so he's leading the investigation. And more people start dying on this boat.
Oh, no.
Eventually, when they get to land, the local authorities deduce that it must be Audrey and Nick who are the suspects. They must have done this, and so chaos ensues, and there's chases, and there's gunfights, and there's ridiculous situations that happen. The plot of this movie is so incredibly basic.
It sounds like every.
I mean,
yeah.
I kind of predicted where this was going to end 25 minutes into the movie.
That's a good mystery.
Yeah, it's great, great mystery. Adam Sandler really playing the lazy character. He's playing like the sitcom husband who's just a bumbling fool, and he lies to his wife all the time. I call this the Ray Romano character, where he's like, I can't tell the truth or she'll think I'm an idiot, so I better keep lying to my wife. It seems like through most of this movie, these two hate each other.
Yeah.
Like, this seems like a couple that truly hates each other.
Well, both of them are kind of, when they are acting, feel like they hate usually someone in the movie.
Well, I hated everything about both of them in this movie. This movie opened, though, as far as Netflix says, 30 million Netflix accounts downloaded this movie, watched this movie, clicked on this movie over the weekend, which is a record for Netflix. I want to know how long those movies played, though.
Well, I
You
think
click on it, and then 10 minutes later, like, nope.
I think it's the same thing as that Santa movie that we had back
Oh,
in
yeah?
December, where it's just there's one person that just
one guy
keeps on hitting that button.
Yeah, so Murder Mystery for our streaming spotlight. I gave it 1 star, and that's it. I kind of like Luke Evans in here as the billionaire. He was kind of fun. But.
I want to thank you for watching this movie so you could review it. I thought my life would be kind of sucked away.
At one point, I was jealous of the people who were getting killed. So I cut the lights out and stabbed me. This is ridiculous.
Did Adam Sandler do any of his funny voices that
no,
are really funny?
unfortunately, we didn't.
Good.
Let's take a look at what we have on the marquee, though. And you have a movie to start us off with, sir.
Yeah, I have Late Night, directed by Nisha Gantara.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. And written by Mindy Kaling, which is one of the stars. Mindy Kaling, she plays Molly Patel. She is a factory worker. She keeps reminding people that she's not a factory worker. She worked in a chemical plant, but basically it's a factory worker. And she ends up getting a job with Catherine Newberry, who has a hit late-night show 20-something years ago. For the past decade, the ratings have been going down. Catherine Newberry is played by Emma Thompson. So Catherine, she is a hard-to-work-with boss.
Yeah.
She has a problem with women, apparently, and hires pretty much only white men to be her writers. And everybody is pretty much lazy when it comes to writing for the show. Catherine used to be a hit comic back in the 80s. She was one of the first people to have a late-night talk show that was female. It was a popular show, but on the decline, and no one canceled it, much like a lot of late-night shows, due to the popularity of who she was, because she was an icon. She wants to spice things up. She gets a female writer, which is Molly, played by Mindy Kaling. She's inexperienced, but she has a lot of good ideas, and
she's also obsessed with Emma Thompson,
and super obsessed with Emma Thompson, which is part of the funny dynamic because Emma Thompson is such a terrible boss. There's one point where she's never met her writers in over a decade. She walks in, and instead of learning their names, she just gives them numbers, and Molly ends up coming in a little late. She's number 8. Right. I really like the premise of this show. It really had some issues that are still current today.
Yeah.
It was funny. I don't think for a show that was written that was supposed to be funny, a lot of the jokes pretty much hit sour. We also have Jonathan Lithgow, who has a side story where he is Emma Thompson's husband. He has Parkinson's and he's at home. And we have it pretty much it flowed really smooth.
Yeah, I think Emma Thompson was really, really good in this.
Yes,
she's great as like the pompous English woman who doesn't care about you. She's stuck in her ways. She stopped being innovative 10 years ago, and she's about to get her show canceled.
Yeah.
And even then, it doesn't really open her eyes until it comes right down to it. Until there's a huge firestorm that she's created, and her back is to the wall. It's time, to maybe change her ways a little bit.
And I really liked Mindy Kaling in this too. She plays the same kind of role that she plays in pretty much everything else, but it really worked. And obviously, she wrote this, so she wrote her part perfect for this movie.
Here's my thing, though, is so Mindy Kaling's character is she's a comedy writer.
Yeah.
And I know that she wasn't hired because she was funny per se, more she was a diversity hire.
Yeah.
But I thought her character Molly, showed zero signs of being funny.
Oh.
Like no quick retorts, because she's going into this good old boys network of writers, and not a lot of like witty retorts or anything like that. I was like, well, she's gonna be funny. It took us until like the last 20 minutes of the movie for me to see her be funny. Actually, it was a lot of her crying. Having a real thin skin, which is not what a comic usually has. Comics usually have pretty thick skin.
With her, a lot of her niceties came off as really funny. When she's sitting at the board table, there's two open seats, but she's like, "Oh, I'll just take this trash can," and she sits on the trash can. And even though her character really didn't have a lot of good jokes, a lot of people didn't have good jokes. There was a lot of funny things, like when they wrote good jokes for the show. I thought those ideas were pretty funny. The white savior skit I thought was hilarious.
Yeah, I thought that was all really good.
Which is also in the previews, but and when it ended, I felt like I saw a complete movie that wasn't all over the place. It wrapped up little endings. There's some little cliches, You know, there was the love story that ended up.
I thought the
working out.
awkward romances were kind of thrown in for no reason.
Yeah, I did too.
I thought we could have pulled that out and done more with that time.
Yeah.
But it feels like you have to have that almost.
I feel like a movie excels better if they avoid that.
Yeah.
But in this case, even though that wasn't a strong set of the plot, I did like the plot. I thought it was original.
What did you end up giving Late Night?
I gave it a 3.5. I did laugh. I liked it.
That's a surprise.
Yeah, I was surprised.
Neither of us were going in with high anticipation.
No, this was a last hour movie for me,
Yeah.
and I was wondering if I was going to have time to see all the movies that I saw. I'm like, okay, we're going to go see this one, and I had a good time.
Excellent. I give it 3 out of 5. I thought it was a fun movie.
Very cool.
Yeah, worth watching. That's for sure.
All right.
I love Emma Thompson. The next movie we have on the marquee is a film called Shaft. This is the third film called Shaft, and maybe fourth in the series. They keep renaming
Well,
them
this
Shaft.
is the second one that was Samuel Jackson.
Right.
I don't know if,
And then there was the Richard Roundtree Shaft, and I think there were 2 of Richard Roundtree movies called Shaft before he went to Africa and all that.
Yeah, he did.
Right. This one, though, stars Jessie T Usher as JJ. He is John Shaft Jr.'s son, Samuel Jackson's character's son. JJ has been separated, estranged from his father, Shaft. He started a career as an IT specialist in the FBI when his best friend is killed, and he enlists the help of his estranged father to crack the case. JJ, because he was raised by his mom, played by Regina Hall, who tried to make him be anything but his dad. He's a square, nothing like the other Shafts.
Sounds very typical.
Yeah, and that's really the thrust of this movie is Sam Jackson making fun of him for being square and soft and white, as he even though he's not. It's Samuel Jackson kind of doing what he does in his Shaftness. We also have Richard Roundtree shows up. In the previous Shaft movie, he was Shaft's uncle. Shaft didn't know his dad was. He was his uncle. Now, in this movie, we retcon it. Now he's Shaft's dad. He's old man Shaft. We find out that all the Shafts have been deadbeat dads, which is great out of your hero. You know, they're all deadbeat dads. Don't see their kids ever. Really an awful stereotype, I think. There's this really completely forgettable plot in this movie about drugs being smuggled into the country and tying up loose ends so people have to die. But the movie is more about Sam Jackson spouting off about how soft JJ is and lamenting that he can't hit women anymore. That was
That's
a scene.
good. That's
like,
a good message.
I guess I've learned. Can't hit the woman. I was not super thrilled with this. There's some fun parts. I mean, Samuel Jackson doing Samuel Jackson is always entertaining. Yeah. No matter what. And so there's that part of it. And I thought Regina Hall killed it in this movie with what she was given to do. I thought she was a lot of fun. Unfortunately, this movie was just so blah as far as the rest of it that I had a hard time just staying engaged in it. And it just pales in comparison to any other Shaft movie.
I really like Samuel L. Jackson, but I really sometimes believe he'll pick anything that gives him a paycheck.
Does, yeah.
Hey, he did credit card commercials.
Yeah,
but he's an awesome character in himself. But yeah, I did not watch Shaft.
Yeah, that's okay. Again, you dodged the bullet yet again with this one. I ended up giving this version of Shaft 2 out of 5 stars. By far the lowest of all the Shaft movies I've seen.
That's a low bar, and it only made it 2?
Yeah, that's right, sir.
All right.
Moving on, what's the next film we have?
This is the one I was the most excited for. This is the rebirth of Men in Black. This is Men in Black International, the 4th in the series, but has nothing to do with the Will Smith series. In this one, we have Chris Hemsworth. He plays Agent H. He is kind of not the typical Men in Black where it's all proper and black suit and tie. He's kind of that rogue acting
Very
agent.
unorthodox.
There's a couple of times he'll just not wear the suit just so he could blend in. We also have Tessa Thompson, who plays Agent M. She is someone who had an experience with an alien life form when she was little. But that little thing that makes people forget, that didn't really quite work on her.
Well, they never saw her. She never got blasted.
Well, she was looking out the window.
Yeah.
But either way, it doesn't matter. She remembers the whole thing. And because she knew about alien life form and the Men in Black, she pretty much made it her life goal. No boyfriends, no anything going on, just...
This reminded me very much of Late Night. She also was obsessed with Emma Thompson.
Oh,
I
yeah.
was like, wow, everybody's obsessed with her.
You know what? I just realized right now I saw 2 Emma Thompson
Yeah.
movies. Emma Thompson, of course, is also in here as Agent O. She is the kind of the lead person in America who sends her over to, and this is the reason why we got international, over to Europe
Yeah.
to work on some cases to prove her muster that she could actually be a Men in Black. Her boss over in England is, of course, Liam Neeson, who plays High Tea, which I thought was
So weird.
interesting. You put in High Tea because I get it, it's
Yeah.
England, haha. But either way, he is the boss there. The Agent M and Agent H work together to kind of stop a smuggling of the most powerful weapon in the world, and that's pretty much what the plot is. Um, you don't really watch these movies for the plot, though. You watch it for the humor, the action, and all the fun aliens that you get to see through this movie. I was really surprised. This is a 4th installment, and I was kind of thinking it was just going to be kind of pushed out because we haven't seen a Men in Black, and that is a popular thing for a lot of people our age. I really enjoyed this.
Yeah.
It actually was a little higher when I first watched it because I was really impressed, but it kind of waned over the week.
Yeah.
There is some product placement in here.
Sure.
The end was a little wobbly for me, but overall, I had a lot of fun.
The character I liked the most in this movie was a little alien named Pawnee, voiced by Kumail Nanjiani.
Yeah.
Who was kind of their sidekick. One of the things I love about these movies is when the aliens and the design of the aliens and the different looking ones. And I wanted more of that in this movie. It was a lot of humans. Like our main villain, we had these like dancing twins who apparently are big internet sensations in real life. And those were kind of like our main villains for most of the movie. And there was a lot of humans, not enough aliens for me.
Actually, I did not care for Pawnee. I
liked him.
was
I like
looking at
Kumail.
him
I'm a
and I
sucker
was
for
like,
Kumail.
man, I hope I don't see that thing again in other movies because I am looking forward to seeing more Men in Black movies. But that is going to be a little situation because I heard Chris Hemsworth.
Well, this movie completely bombed at the box office.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
Massively
I didn't even pay
underperformed, and
attention to
then
that.
things started coming out. The script had apparently gone through so many rewrites that the director, F. Gary Gray, tried to leave the project and was not allowed to leave. He actually made a separate cut from the producer. They made 2 different cuts of this movie because they were fighting about it so much.
Okay.
I didn't like this movie at all.
Oh no,
I did
I am
not.
sorry.
I thought the chemistry was there between Chris Hemsworth and Tessa Thompson.
Yeah.
I mean, we've seen it before in Thor Ragnarok. I liked them together. I thought the writing in this movie was atrocious.
Really?
I
Oh.
really did. And I didn't know about any of this stuff behind
Uh-huh.
the scenes until after the movie, because then it came out when the box office was so bad, they're
Okay.
finding reasons. Oh, the reason it was bad was because of this. But I thought that it's just they're breaking rules in the universe. Rules in the universe are you're not allowed to bring alien tech out into the human world. And now yet they got alien machines out there left and right in the human world. I was like, that's not the universe. I thought that, I wanted more aliens in this. And I thought that the script was so telegraphed, I kind of knew what everything was going on like way early. And I was really bored in the movie,
Oh.
which is rough because I went in expecting something good and enjoyable. But I just wish that they were given more to do because I like their chemistry quite a bit. And I like everyone in the movie.
I liked their chemistry a lot of bit, and I liked how they acted too. It wasn't just their chemistry, but their characters. I really loved them, and there was kind of a mystery. It was predictable very much at the
Yeah.
end, but at one point I thought, okay, the mole, the person that they don't know that's in MI Black, could it be this guy or
Sure.
this guy or this guy? And I did that all the way up until pretty much the 3rd act, and I'm like, I figured it out.
Yeah, it made me long for the previous versions of this. It made me long for Men in Black 3, which I didn't even particularly like that much.
That
But I
one's-
like the dynamic between Will Smith and Tommy Lee Jones so much more than what these characters were given to do.
Yeah.
That's kind of a frustrating. Anyways, what did you end up giving Old Men in Black International?
I gave it a 4, and I know that our scores are not going to match up. I feel bad that you didn't like it as much as I
I
did.
gave it a 1.5.
Oh, I am so sorry.
Less than Shaft.
I walked out of that movie just wow, but maybe it was because I went in low.
We're in 2 different categories with
Yeah.
that one. The last film we have on the marquee this week is The Dead Don't Die from director Jim Jarmusch. Stars Bill Murray and Adam Driver and Chloe Sevigny as three small-town cops in Centerville. We find out that polar fracking is blamed for possibly changing the Earth's axis. And in Centerville, the small police department they're used to the boring and mundane lifestyle of small-town police work. And suddenly things start happening, like daylight suddenly lasts a whole lot longer. And ghouls are suddenly walking the streets. The undead are walking the streets. A character named Hermit Bob, played by Tom Waits, is narrating the events as he believes that it's all this toxic lunar vibrations are causing all this, and he's watching from afar as craziness happens in the town. It turns into this zombie-ish movie. And we introduce, it's a Jim Jarmusch movie, so he carries along with him this huge cast of characters that are all over the place. Tilda Swinton plays the local Undertaker, who has this crazy accent and is pretty great with a samurai sword for some reason.
Yeah, she's
very
a
strange.
Unique character.
Yeah, Caleb Landry Jones, a kid who I really like, runs the gas station. He's also turns the gas station into this horror novelty store.
Mm-hmm.
For some reason, everyone calls him Frodo Baggins. I don't know why.
No, neither do I.
I wanted to understand that part.
But I felt that was pretty unique and accurate, where if you live in a small town and you have the only gas station, yeah, you can do anything you want with it.
I did like that. And so this, the zombies, as these zombies pop up, they are driven to the things that gave them joy as humans. You see zombies like going and getting candy, zombies playing guitar, and on their phones, just looking for internet.
It reminded me of Dawn of the Dead, which the whole theme was about consumerism, and I was like, oh, they're trying to rehash this.
Yeah.
From what I read, this Tilda Swinton, she was the one who was trying to convince Jim Jarmusch to make this movie. But I'm confused on why they thought the script was that great. The acting power on this is huge. Like you mentioned, with Bill Murray and Adam Driver, and Tom Waits is in here. Yeah. Steve Buscemi, we have RZA, we have Rosie Perez, we have Selena Gomez, we have Iggy Pop, who plays a zombie.
Yeah.
He has
Danny Glover's in this.
Tons of big star power. But this script, if people read it normally, probably 40 minutes long. Everybody just was really slow, and they repeated the same jokes.
But that's a Jim Jarmusch film. That's he sets this very deliberate mood in his movies, and he has a very particular style, and this is very much a Jim Jarmusch movie.
Okay.
100%. It's not my favorite. Like he made Patterson a couple years ago with Adam Driver, which I thought was a phenomenal movie.
And he actually worked with most of these actors, so I'm assuming that's how
he's like a lot of these actors that kind of brings his cast with him from project to project.
He did Broken Roses?
Yeah, and he just kind of accumulates people that want to keep working with him.
Yeah.
One of the things I like about this movie is, it's very meta. It breaks the fourth wall several times.
Yeah. Only one person does it, which I thought was weird.
We have two. Both of the cops, Bill Murray and Adam Driver, both break the fourth wall.
Okay. It was mostly, okay.
There's also all these little things that Jarmusch throws in. Like we have RZA in there, so he's a UPS driver, so it's the WUPS driver. Adam Driver has his keychain, and it's got a Star Destroyer keychain on it. Little things like this, I kind of like that he just throws these in, little doses of things. Big part of this movie is Sturgill Simpson. Sturgill Simpson's song, "The Dead Don't Die," plays. It breaks the fourth wall in the first 3 minutes of the movie.
Yeah.
And it's constantly referenced throughout the movie. It's kind of a running gag of this CD, this song, this Sturgill Simpson sings this song. Didn't you know that?
Yeah.
I don't know how he got this kind of advertising out of the deal, but boy, it's got to be good for him.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. What did you think of this film?
I thought that the script was absolutely horrible. There's some funny parts, but most of them was like Space Ghost Coast to Coast jokes, where it just takes forever to make the joke, and therefore it's funny. Like there's a scene where three people go into the diner to find the victims, and in the exact same scene,
rerun it
over and over again. At the end, you could chuckle, but also you're like, wow, that was a lot of buildup of my life to have a joke that I chuckled about.
Yeah, just the whole Bill Murray, Adam Driver dynamic together, it's like a magnet for me. I couldn't get enough of it.
Yeah.
I love horror comedies.
Mm-hmm.
Almost every horror comedy. I love horror mixed with my comedy, my peanut butter and my jelly.
It's a genre that really doesn't get played as much as it should.
it's good. And so I think you and I have differing opinions on this movie because I liked it. I love Adam Driver's character especially was like my favorite in this, and him just constantly kill the head.
Yeah.
Kill the head. I like the repetition. I thought it was kind of fun in these small town cops. I love the point when he's constantly saying, "Oh, this isn't going to end well," and finally Bill Murray just snaps on him.
How do you know?
Yeah, I like these things. What did you end up giving The Dead Don't Die?
I gave it a 2. It's definitely a quirky film, but it was slow for me, and I was getting bored quite frequently.
So at the beginning of the year, this was my second most anticipated movie of the year. And it didn't really disappoint as much as I was worried about.
All right.
I gave it a 3.5.
There we
I
go.
liked it quite a bit. I'm a big sucker for Jim Jarmusch, though. I'm in the cult of him that doesn't think he's ever made a bad movie.
Okay.
And so I'm all in on it. I dug it. I love little things. Rosie Perez's name is Posey Jerez.
Yes, I noticed that.
I like these things. So, anyways, differing opinions on a couple of these movies this week.
Yeah.
Let's take a moment quickly to dive into our camp throwback. It's summer camp season. Look at that graphic. I love it every time. And this week's camp throwback is the film SpaceCamp.
Yes, it is.
From 1986. It opens with kids going to a space camp. A bunch of misfits, different things going to space camp, and oops, we end up in space because Kate Capshaw is the astronaut who's teaching this group of misfits, ragtag group. Something happens, and now they're in space, and what's going to happen?
I get to know her name because the kids scream,
"Oh my!" You're not
so
kidding.
many times.
We have a very young Joaquin Phoenix when he was known as Leaf Phoenix in this movie.
Leah Thompson.
Yep. Kelly Preston, Tate Donovan, Larry B. Scott. We know him from Revenge of the Nerds. And Tom Skerritt, because it was an 80s movie, so Tom Skerritt had to be in it.
In every movie.
What did you think of Space Camp?
This is the third time I've seen it, and every time I see it, I think I didn't give it a chance because it was such a huge hit at the time it came out, and everybody loved it. The dialogue in this is stupid. I hate
really
that
is
robot. Bad. This whole premise of the movie is so terrible, and I'm watching this, and I'm like, okay, really, honest, this is the last time I'm going to do this to myself. I'm not going to watch Space Camp again thinking that I didn't give it a shot. I gave it a shot 3 times over my lifetime. I don't like this movie.
I used to love this movie.
Yeah.
And we watched it again last week, the family and I wanted bad things to happen to some of these characters, particularly Leaf Phoenix.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, let's just cut the cord, let him float off into space.
I actually would have been okay with all these kids dying. just blow them all up.
This movie came out right after the Challenger, too, 1986.
It was after the Challenger?
Yeah.
I thought it was
before. It was
before.
made before and was supposed to come out, and then they had to push it.
Yeah, that's a good
You
idea.
get a little distance there, but
Kate Capshaw kind of looks like Macaulay Culkin.
Yeah.
Not Macaulay
Culkin.
Culkin. Christy McAuliffe. Thank you.
Yeah.
Not Macaulay Culkin.
Not Macaulay.
Totally different guy.
So that's Space Camp for this week. Let's quickly take a look ahead. Sir, what is coming the weekend of June 28th? We have 3 films. The first one is another doll movie. We have Annabelle Comes Home. We're full of toy movies.
We got
trouble.
3 doll movies.
Running amok. We also have Yesterday. What happens in the universe where the Beatles don't exist?
I'm looking forward to this a lot.
This movie looks really good to me.
Yeah.
It's really interesting. I like that there's a couple of movies this summer that are not necessarily biopics about bands, but are centered around them. There's also the one about the kid who's obsessed with Bruce Springsteen. I kind of like
that one. Doesn't intrigue me.
I kind of like this use of musicians, though, like not straight biopic.
Same here.
We'll just use them. And then the last one is Ophelia. This one is stars Daisy Ridley. It is a retelling of Hamlet, as told from the point of view of Ophelia. There's Daisy Ridley and Naomi Watts. So those are the films that are coming out June 28th. Before we leave you, though, we're not done with you. We want to thank, first off, our sponsor, Palace Cinema, right here in Sun Prairie Marcus Theaters. Thank you for sponsoring this program. We always appreciate it. Good, bad, or otherwise, it's always great to come sit in a Dream Lounger and watch a movie. I mean, it makes even bad movies better.
Yeah, and the staff there is fantastic. I love the staff. They're becoming kind of like my family.
Oh, they're family.
I love seeing their smiles every time I come in.
That's so nice. If you want to find more from us, I encourage you to find us on Facebook or Twitter, Real Reviews TV, where you find us on all of those places. Next week, we're going to be talking about films like Anna, Toy Story 4, and Child's Play. Going to be a good one, as well as another fun camp throwback. But until that time, I'm Jameson.
I'm Mike Roth.
Thanks for watching.